Hello everybody, welcome back for StarCraft 2 action. Not on the Game Pass, but on YouTube. We're watching the Bellum's Gen Elite Tournament 2024, held I think early September, was it? Mid-August? I said it last time. I knew it last time. And we have Lambo going up against Gerald. Now, Gerald of Rivia, apparently, we haven't seen on the channel before. Well, we have seen him go up against Terran players in the last Home Story Cup casts we did, Home Story 25. But we haven't seen him play against any Zerg yet, so I'm interested to see what he brings to the table. The other hand, Lambo, we have seen him play some ZvP already from the ESL Spring Finals. And he did 2 best-of-3s versus Hearthstone, and he put in some confident-ass play on Oceanborn, specifically. Same spawns. They played 2 matches, Lambo and Hearthstone, and they did end up going in Lambo's favor. I mean, spoilers, I guess. And Lambo, really a proponent. He favors going into Evo play before Lair. Favors getting his 3 bases up, getting the drones up, like 2.5 bases full of drones, then get an Evo, either melee or range, and then go with a lot of Ling Roach Ravager aggression, pull the queens if necessary. Queen drops even occur, but yeah, I guess that this is a spoiler, but he went for a Roach Queen attack, but behind it he threw down a Spire. And then went for, I think, like 20 plus mutas behind that attack, basically completely faking the attack in the first game that they played. And then after that, he just kept doing strong attack after strong attack. So let's see if, like, Hearthstone Lambo was Oceanborn and Side Delta. Interesting to see if that will happen again. And let's see what Gerald is doing on his side of the map. Going for a Stargate. Going for that standard Protoss play. Going to use that Oracle. Take a 3rd base. We have the first Adept going across the map. Schrodinger's Adept. He's walking back. And that Overlord's not going to see where that Shade went. And the Shade did not complete. Overlord is flying in. Trying to catch that Adept maybe. Does not see it. Dude. There we go. He does see the Adept now. The second Adept goes across the map. Lambo's privy to the location of these Adepts for now. One of them does stay around. My cat's meowing. Patricia Beep. Jump cut because she is stuck in my room. Wants to get out. The Zergling, though, wants to get in. The probe is in the way. He's taking some hits for ire. And even makes a gate. Oh my god. And now the Adept comes out and kills the Ling. Dude, Gerald, cute as can be, spends about 35 minerals and a little bit of opportunity cost to stop that Zergling from getting a scout. Now we have some Zerglings on the map, 9 of them for Lambo. Spores are being built, or at least one of them. An Oracle's out, second Oracle being chrono boosted out. This Oracle sees what's going on, and behind this we expect to see a 4th base or 3rd base and Twilight plus Forge. Just stock standard Protoss play. We have 3 Adepts in the wall. And no losses for Gerald yet on this map. The Shades did not end up going into the base. This Oracle is looking for that first drone kill. Oh my god, look at this defense from Lambo. It's pretty goddamn difficult to not lose a drone or 2 versus these Oracles. Twilight Console with more gates going down, so 4 gate. Now, Hearthstone did have a little bit of success going for pretty fast 8 gate blink timing without +1 versus Lambo. Don't think he did not end up winning that game, but he did get a pretty nice position and a playable game, which is pretty difficult versus the Zerg Professor over here. 4th base, gonna go down before the 5-minute marks is hit. Forge is going down as well. We see the Roach Warren in the Evo Chamber coming down before the Lair. And Let's see what happens. No third Oracle. That is a little curious. What is Gerald going to do with that extra gas? Starts up the blink. Still has that money. Might just want to do a round of stalkers. There we go. That is some stalker pressure in the making. We do have 4 adepts here at the front. Let's look at the drone count. 58 drones with 7 more underway. Lambo's been pretty safe. Look at the amount of links that he made. So he's been respecting any run-bys that Gerald could do, and Lambo can afford it because he did not take any damage. Any damage versus those oracles. Didn't have to invest into those spores super early, and look at that. The stalkers are moving across the map. Lambo fires up more Zerglings. He has +1 in the works, but there is no blink, so this is kind of a weird push for the Zerg to receive, because the Twilight console upgrade just doesn't line up with the push. Gerald pushes ahead a little early, so cutting that Oracle, making the 4th gateway, gives him the opportunity to do this early push, and forcing out a lot of units out of the Zerg here. Nice Stasis ward goes off on most of the Zerglings. Now these adepts try to get into the mineral line, but the Zerglings are on top of them right away. Nice surrounds by Lambo. No drones were lost there, maybe one. And more stalkers do move in. Blink is now about to finish. We'll see a Baneling and an infestation pick coming out. Even a roach here for Lambo. But does he have more larvae? Yes, he does. More roaches and lings underway. And Blink is now about to finish. A 4th base for Gerald is going down. More gateways underway. And we already have 7 on the map. So this does... It's not an 8 gate, but it's definitely a push. Well, that's a lot of stalkers to get rid of. 1 overseer. Oh my god, the lings get a semi-surround on the stalkers. Actually, kind of a pseudo force field here from Gerald with the stasis ward, or stasis trap. We did lose a stalker there, but we are forcing out so many units from the Zerg here. Zerg still on sub 70 worker count. Do see Baneling nest completed. Baneling speed halfway done. +2, however, has started up for Gerald, signaling that I'm okay with a little bit of a longer game here. Another stasis trap ready to make sure that these lings can't get a nice surround. Charge is also coming in, and charge is goddamn annoying. +1 charge slots will eat these Zerglings for breakfast, dinner, and maybe a little dessert after. Bunch of Banelings are coming in. A big link surround from the back. No more stasis traps here, and Lambo gets a huge surround on the army of Gerald, making those stalkers use their blink, and now they have to retreat. These roaches are moving in. They have speed, and these zealots are slow. They do not have charge, and they get eaten up by the Zerg force. Zerg overwhelming. Now moving into the 4th base of Gerald. Gerald, can he hold? We do see some nice force fields coming down, but we have a Ravager at the ready. Corrosive Bile gets rid of those force fields, and the last bastion of defense stops there. Gerald does not manage to hold his 4th base here, but can he hold on for the game at least? These oracles are out of juice. We see some charge zealots being warped in at the base that honestly feels like it's a lost cause. The stalkers now walking in, but the charge zealots have already died. The tanking has been done, but the DPS was not delivered, and Lambo takes a clean 1-0 lead over Gerald here in this best of 3 for the Bellum Gens Elite. And for game number 2, we are loaded into Site Delta. Surprise, surprise. Gerald going up against Lambo, and Gerald going for that early probe scout once again is going to deny an early hatchery on this map. I'm making sure that he doesn't get 12 pulled, I suppose. Hasn't really been meta, but some Zergs like to whip it out every now and again, myself included. Pairs very nicely with Proxy Hatch. Lambo shrugs it off, just puts his hatchery at a 3rd base location, and goes from there. Now, before the action kicks off, be sure that you are subscribed to the channel, like the video. If you want to see more StarCraft action, thank you very much. Going to be doing almost the entire tournament over the course of the next 2 months. So I hope you join me for that. Just pick the games you think are interesting. Give it a little watch. And after that, Home Streak of 26 hits us like a sack of bricks. It's going to... Well, it's going to be enjoyable. I feel like bricks aren't that enjoyable. So there's going to be a lot of StarCraft in the pipeline. Might branch off, do a little bit of another game here and there, but I only really want to do casts that I want to do, if that makes sense. If I'm like, yeah, I really want to see those matches or that game or like that meta. And honestly, it's mostly just StarCraft that I like watching. Now, a very cool thing, if you are a Zerg player or a Protoss player, I suppose, with a very critical eye, and you want to learn a bit of ZvP, if you want to revamp your Zerg versus Protoss, these are some very interesting series to look at. The meta hasn't shifted that much, like we haven't had a big patch, and you can watch Lambo play against Hearthstone twice and versus Gerald on the same maps so far. And I don't know if Gerald wins this one, but if he does, then that could even be more interesting. But like seeing Lambo play Zerg versus Protoss on the same maps, in the same meta, in a tournament where he wants to very much win. Like he might play a little bit to his opponent, that's the only problem with tournament replays, where if they just know each other very well, you might see builds that don't make sense versus regular players. For example, Lambo versus Hearthstone could just be... All those games could be mind game on top of mind game on top of mind game, which is just hard to discern as a outside viewer, even if you know a little bit about the matchup. Oh my lord, Dark Templar! We have Gerald going past the Stargate, just skipping it all together. And the Overlord, oh no, it's gonna find it. It sees the Dark Templar Shrine, it sees the Robo finishing up. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Lambo just start a lair in the near future to make sure that these DTs don't do anything. Could also just rely on spores, but how do you ever take a fourth then if he goes hard on the Dark Templar? Could also just go for an Archon drop. Remember, Archon drops... If you remember Neeb winning GSL Super Tournament, I think it was, then you remember Archon drops. And Dark Templar actually not as gas heavy. Oh my god, a probe gets picked up. I guess he goes to the third base. That's really cute. Super cute, oh my god. Lambo playing like the superior player, because he made a good amount of links here, making sure that he knows what's up, and making sure that these adepts can't catch him off guard. We do see a Roach Warren finishing up here, and Dark Templar are being warped in at the third base here. Are they going to become an Archon? Or just run around the map? Behind this, we see a Robotic Support Bay. That is interesting. Is that going to be Colossi or Disruptor? Could be Disruptor drop, but that would be very late. But still, if you see heavy Roach play coming out of your opponent, that would be pretty strong. We do see spores in every base. Lambo just taking his boxes, making sure that Dark Templar can't do anything. Now, last game he did have a fourth base building already. And as I said, that would be difficult to defend without Overseer's lair halfway done. And this Spore Crawler shimmying around a little bit. This Warp Prism does not manage to get into the natural base of Lambo. Lambo, once again, he is playing safe, but because of that, he's losing 0 drones. Absolutely no drones. And that means that it's okay to make this amount of units. Because if you make, like, if you're playing safe and you lose drones, my god, are you behind? Versus a top tier Protoss player. And if you're super greedy, but you lose a couple drones, then it's still fine. And you're still in a relatively even position. Now the fourth base does go down. We don't have... Oh, we do have an Overseer. Detection is here Fourth base goes down a full minute later in the last game. Dark Templar do get saved by the War Prism. Interesting style coming out here from Gerald. And we do see the Disruptor plus the War Prism speed, so he is going for a Speed Prism with 2 Disruptor play. And behind this we do see a War or a Spire. And Spire is so strong against Robo play because the Stargate just isn't there, and so if they don't scout it, they have to make sure they have a lot of Stalkers or like Archons in 2 positions on the map. It's actually really, really difficult to play against Muta if you don't know it's coming and you don't have a Stargate. And Gerald puts himself in this position willingly. Is going to take a 4th base. Now this is a pretty okay-ish surface area, I would say. You can even take the 5th and just get cannons up. Oh. Now we do see a bunch of roaches here from Lambo, but he does a similar thing to what he did versus Hearthstone on this map. Goes for a bunch of mutas, allegedly. We haven't seen them yet. But goes for a Spire behind, showing a bunch of roaches. Of course, you want to have the roaches in case there is an attack. Now the Speed Prism with the Disruptors is online. 3rd Disruptor comes out, and we actually have pretty sturdy army for Gerald starting to form. But this army does look a little immobile now, doesn't it? And the mutas are starting to be built. 9 mutas on the way, plus 2 melee on the way. And Lambo expands further, takes a 5th. Wouldn't be surprised to see him take a 6th base in a decently weird location. Oh my god, the 2nd Disruptor shot actually misses the Queen. The mutas know where the War Prism is. If the mutas bunch up here, they can catch a free War Prism, or they can try and fly into a mineral line and get a bunch of free probes. Let's see what the mutas do. We do see 1 attack from Lambo at the top. Archons are at the ready to defend. And the mutas fly in. They do find the War Prism. And they get that kill. The Disruptors are dead. Lambo's roaches in the 3rd base are getting a decent trade as well. And the 4th base, in the meanwhile, is being overrun. Oh my god, Gerald! It felt like such a sturdy army. And now the roaches even move into the 4th base. More mutas and lings. These roaches are temporary, but ling muta is forever. And I think the demise of Gerald's 4th base here might be inevitable. Lots of probes going down there. But Gerald is fighting to hold on once again to his 4th base. But does he have the numbers? The last Archon does get targeted down. And that means that there's no good answer to these mutas right now. More Disruptors are coming out. +2. Not done. And that +2 is not going to see the light of day before the entire army of Gerald is evaporated. And a Lambo finds a nice way into the natural there. And that is the power of Zerg, ladies and gentlemen. Just tech switching it up. Like, that is just Zerg in a nutshell now, isn't it? You just go for like a roach-based army. That's what you show. Behind it, you have a Spire. And on a dime, you can just decide to make 10 to 15 meters. And then, based on what you see, you can go back into roaches. You can add a Hydrodin. You can add a Baneling Nest. You can keep tech switching, or you can double down into your tech. It is one of those things that are super frustrating for the opponents. But the Zergs, they're eating good. And Lambo takes a very, very convincing win in the upper bracket here in the Bellum Gens Elite Tournament. So we're going to see Lambo move on in that upper bracket. I think does he play Raynor? I think he does. That's a pretty nice ZvZ. And Gerald falls to the lower bracket. And we'll see more of him later. Guys, thank you for watching. Hope you're enjoying the StarCraft. More will be coming. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.